My name is Jacob Harple, and joining me, as always...
You did not do the tagline where we break down the basics of Big Brother.
Well... Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother 18. My name's Jacob Harple, and joining with me is the always fabulous, always fantastic Keith Guerrero. Keith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jacob. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Why are you touching me?
I'm sorry, I was just scratching my hand. Also joining with us is the ecstatic, the erratic Aaron Nunley. Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me to Keith's bedroom.
You're welcome. He didn't know. So, guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Big Brother 18 is right around the corner. So we, the Basics, have decided to do a little cast assessment for the new season. So, just first thing I want to throw out there is we've got 12 all-new house guests. What do you think about the 12 house guests as a whole before we kind of jump into them one at a time?
I really like that it's 12. You know, people can just play from the beginning. They don't have anyone to hide behind. Unless they bring some people, you know, from previous seasons.
Which I'm sure that's not going to happen.
I don't think so at all. But the cast as a whole, I actually like, generally. But we'll get into that.
Okay. One thing I did want to talk about before we jump into the cast is the news that there is no Battle of the Block this season. Aaron, what was your reaction to that news?
Hallelujah! Yes! Really, Battle of the Block should have only been one season. It should have been like their main twist for that season, and then we move on to another twist. It really shouldn't have lasted more than just that one season. And it's annoying that we have to like cross our fingers, like, oh God, is it coming back? Type of thing. But I'm glad that it's gone.
I wonder if they finally read the tweets from the fans where we're not
the real
pleased.
people that haven't actually just watched a couple of seasons.
No, the producer's like, oh, I love this twist. It's a fan favorite.
As soon as they said the fan favorite line, Twitter blew up.
You're a liar. You're a liar. So obviously 12 house guests. We know that there are probably going to be some returners. There's been a couple of rumors. Keith, do you think we can expect a coach twist again this season?
I actually think that it'll be more like a second chances feel. You know, like people that aren't necessarily good at the game, but producers were like, you know what, we see your social media presence, we're going to bring you into the house because you can be something after the game. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's coming back, but I will not set myself here. I'll set myself down here.
And you're going to stay there.
I'm going to stay there for the rest of the season, so I won't be disappointed.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and just jump right into this cast. First person I wanted to talk about was Paul Abrahamian. Mm-hmm. He's 23 years old. He's from California, and he's a clothing designer. And what was your first impression of Paul?
So, I wrote my notes so that I remember everybody because, not to be rude or shady, but there's just a lot of white people the same shade. So, like, you just gotta, I have to write my notes so I remember who's who. But honestly, Paul, out of everybody in this cast, he'd be the one that I'd actually like to hang out with. He is the youngest with one of the girls, I can't remember which one. He's 23, and he's like so real. Like, he doesn't care if he wins, he doesn't care if he loses. He's literally just here to take someone else's spot that actually wanted to be on the show. Like he's just really honest, and I feel like I'm gonna actually enjoy watching him on like feeds and stuff because he's gonna just say and do whatever he wants to.
Keith, what's your thoughts on Paul?
I like that he's from Los Angeles, tattoos, beards, very kind of Austin kind of feel. Fashion designer, so you know he's very good with his clothes and the way he looks, the way he presents himself, very creative, talented. And it's funny that you say that because that's actually what my thing was about Paul, is that he's the person in the cast that I'd actually want to hang out with, that I would think that we would be really good friends just in real life. He said he's down to do anything, like he doesn't care if he's hated, doesn't care if he's loved, just very like millennial, I don't care. I think that it'll be really entertaining to watch him. I think he's going to be hot or cold. Like, I think we're either going to be really, really big fans of him, or he's just going to be like irrelevant and get evicted. So I hope that he's going to do something with this game and form some sort of strategy, be strategic, develop those relationships. But from what my impression of him is that he's just there to have a good time, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I don't win HOH and nominate two people just because, like, not even really care in the nomination. Like, I put you and you up. That's it.
he sounds like someone that would just be like, yeah, I'll take first HOH. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then I don't think he would be a hot mess. I don't think he would let it go to him. I think he'd just do what he wanted to do, and that would be that, which I think is really how you do the first HOH.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say that.
Just gonna crop this out right here.
Kind of what you guys said. I definitely get a very easygoing personality from Paul. I mean, I am afraid that he might have a little too cool for school attitude that could rub some of the house guests the wrong way. But he seems like someone that doesn't get affected by a lot, and so I don't think he's gonna like go crazy in the house and just completely blow up and be a total hot mess. Does he have the strategic finesse for the game? That remains to be unseen, but I don't know. With those like rockstar guys, he has the potential of just total like oblivious like douche level come out, but he seems more laid back than that, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he seems like he'd be an interesting player. So do we want to do like a pre-jury or jury thing?
Yeah.
We don't need to pick winners yet since we're going to do the draft later, but we could just do we think he's going to make pre-jury or jury?
And final two.
We don't want.
We don't want to pick winners yet. Oh, because of the draft.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we could pick somebody for final two and not want them on our team.
But yeah, so Paul, Aaron, where do you place Paul in the game?
I honestly think, and it's also kind of in my thought process of there being at least like two people extra coming into the house, so it gives a little bit more space for pre-jury rather than just three people.
Right.
I do think he will be in pre-jury. I was talking about how I liked his personality because I'd like to be able to hang out with him, but I actually don't like him for the Big Brother house because I'd rather somebody who actually. Like, I would like it if everybody was strategic and everybody was a game player, but obviously not going to get that and blah, blah, blah. But he actually is just, like, blatantly, like, whatever. So I don't think he's going to be really that strategic and good in the game, but he might make it a couple.
What do you think, Keith?
I'm going to give him jury. I think that the house will be too interested in his personality to give him up within the first couple weeks. And plus, he's super chill, laid back listener, and that's what the house wants. There's some messes that are going to be inside this house that I think he'll be able to hide for the first few weeks in the pre-jury saga. So I think he's going to make jury.
Yeah, I'm going to give Paul jury as well, just because I do think he has that easygoing personality. I think he does have the ability to coast. There is obviously a chance if he doesn't find himself in some sort of group or alliance that he could just be a pre-jury casualty. But like I said before, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's going to coast himself into alliance and have the mentality to be able to just kind of sit back and relax for those first couple of weeks. So I'm going to give Paul jury. All right, so the next person we have is Viktor Arroyo, who's 25 years old. He's from LA. He's a gym manager, smart, sexy, and fit.
According to you.
According to you.
According to himself. Keith, what's your first impression of Viktor?
It's funny because I know a Viktor back in UNT that it reminds me exactly of this Viktor. Just very built, the long kind of hair, like the Tarzan guy through the jungle, and very sociable. I think the only thing that I think will be against Viktor is the fact that he's so cocky. I think that's going to be his demise. I think that somebody is going to be obviously lying to him, and he's going to be so full of himself that he'll believe it. And just the moment that it's good for them, Viktor's going to get cut. So I don't see Viktor doing well in this game. I think he's going to be maybe like a Devin, like a hot mess, first 3 weeks in, eliminated immediately.
Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Like, obviously, I didn't appreciate the sexy comment. Like, that's literally according to you.
I think I'm pretty sexy.
In his interview with Jeff, he was asked how many. I mean, I could attack a lot of people in this house for the same comment, but how many seasons have you seen? Oh, I've seen a couple. AKA, I only saw some that they gave me
in the hotel.
Yeah, in the hotel when I had nothing else to do.
Dudan's the greatest player of all time.
Jeff asked him how far he was willing to go, or how far he was going to bring a girl, because they were talking about like showmances and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how far are you willing? Are you willing to like backstab her to get to the $500,000? He was like, I don't know. I have to put a number on that $500,000. It's $500,000. That's the number you put on the $500,000. So he's not here to win. He's literally sitting right next to Paul. Like, you don't want to win. So I mean, he's real when he was telling us the real answer.
Yeah.
So I mean, I give you that, but
You're
not here to win.
You think he has Shane Meany value? Like, because like players like Viktor have the potentially to really like crash and burn like a Devin, but we also saw someone in a couple seasons like Caleb or Shane that are pretty meat heady that actually find themselves going really, really deep in the game. Do you think Viktor has that potential?
I mean, he could, but he's not here to win. So whether he goes out first or he goes out fifth place, like, you're still not going to win.
I think Viktor's more like a Jesse.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple more like meatheads that are more of like the Shanes and the Calebs.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty low on Viktor as well. I'm just kind of reading his bio, and he just doesn't know exactly what to do. He wants people to think that he's just a dumb guy and likes to lift, which I think will be pretty easy.
You don't have to try.
Yeah, because I think that's what he is. I think he's a dumb guy that likes to lift. So yeah, I don't know. He just seems like a guy who thinks this game is super easy, that he can just go in, create an alliance, and be done. And I think that's going to blow up in his face, especially if there are returning players in this game that are going to smell that like a mile away. So unless he gets brought into something, I think he's going to be really, really bad at this game. So, Aaron, where do you put Viktor? Do you put him in jury or pre-jury?
I feel like I need to put him in jury because I feel like in the past couple of seasons, the house guys have been really stupid and they're not putting the right people in the right place. So somehow I feel like he's going to get like early jury. Like, he's going to get to that jury stage and I'm going to be screaming like, why did he get this far?
Yeah. Keith, what do you think?
See, like, I'm on the same page with that. Like, just because I think that he'll get eliminated and I wouldn't vibe with him doesn't mean that the rest of the house will feel the same way.
Sure.
And I wouldn't be surprised based on these interviews if they actually enjoy being around him. So I'm also going to give him jury.
You know, I love this game, and I want to think that like there is a formula to do really, really bad, and I want to think that the gods of Big Brother would pass their judgment on someone that plays the way that Viktor's, I predict, going to play. So I just want to believe that the house will do the right thing and get the player that is so like, womanizing, like just meathead, like those guys should go home first. But you guys are absolutely right. Sometimes they just don't. Sometimes they make it to, top 4. Sometimes they make it to top 2. But I'm just going to pray that, the BB gods know what they're doing. And I'm going to give Viktor pre-jury just because everything about this guy just screams bad player to me. So I want the people that play well to make it to jury and make it deep in the game. I don't want to see this guy play all summer. That's just my first impression. I'm still in denial.
There were a lot of times where I was listening to these interviews where I wasn't sure if they were auditioning for Big Brother or The Bachelor, Bachelorette. So just because it was 50-50, I think he's definitely jury.
Okay. I'm going to give him pre-jury, and we'll see what happens. But, all right, so next person we have is Corey Brooks. He's 25 from Dallas, Texas.
Yes,
and
Dallas!
He is a homophobe. I mean, baseball coach. Baseball coach, sorry. Tired, sorry. Baseball coach. Keith, let's talk about Corey.
Okay.
Extraordinary, passionate, and lovable is how you describe him.
See, that's conceited as hell. Like, if you call yourself lovable, it's like, that's from somebody else.
I am extraordinary.
And then you say you're humble. So, like, yeah, he's just the Clay of the season, the good looks, the person that is going to find his Shelley and just be the Brendan for Rachel, like, that guy. Like, he fills that role.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say about him. Not really interesting. I don't think he's going to play the game well. He described himself as like a frat guy. Like, he has parties all the time, men and women. Like, I'm not excited to watch him.
Cool. Aaron, what do you think?
So he's another one. I've seen 2 or 3 seasons. I mean, so you don't really know about the game. His favorite BB player is Cody.
Yeah.
So I see that when Paulie, we haven't talked about yet, but when Paulie, inevitably announces that he's Cody's brother, I feel like they're gonna do that whole bromance, like, oh, I loved your brother, like, oh, you can totally trust me, like, I respected his game and I totally want to get that far with you. So I see that happening. I thought it was really funny in his interview. Jeff was talking about his relationship with his roommates, like, who do you live with, trying to figure out how he would be able to transfer his bromance with those people into the Big Brother house. And he was like, well, my friend Noah lives there, and my friend Kate, like he was like naming off people, and Jeff was like, well, what I'm really trying to talk about, because I don't care about your friends. I think a lot of cluelessness from him. Like, why would Jeff really care about the names and the occupations and what your friends are doing right now? Like, he wants to know about what's going on in the game, as do we. But I feel like that just defines his gameplay already. Like, you don't understand what's going on in this game, like, at all. And you're completely right. He's totally Clay. Totally wants to be Cody's best friend. So there's gonna be that.
Yeah, I'm pretty low on Corey. I don't know how well he's gonna do at this game, because obviously I do think him and Paulie are gonna like connect and total like, oh, we could totally be the next hitman, like, let's do that. And obviously Corey is no Derek. So I don't know. I just get really put off by people like that. Obviously with the comments that he made on Twitter, it's just like, it's really hard to like want to root for this guy. It's really hard to think he's a great player, because the 2 people he named like drops are Cody and then Zach Rance. So it's like,
recent players.
Yeah, so it's like, obviously he doesn't really know what to do in the game. He's going to win an HOH and probably be a hot mess, total douche alert.
He also did say that he would like to lose and be loved by America rather than winning.
He's doing a great job
already.
Yeah,
on the dirt already.
He's so like, oh yeah, totally. So I don't know. I just don't care. Sorry. What would you take to the house? My dog Rory, my samurai sword. Ooh, such a cool guy right there. But anyway,
he's also from A&M, and Clay was from A&M too. I'm just glad that he decided, hey, I'm not going to wear the cowboy hat in this picture. So
right?
At least he had some standards.
They told him, no, not this time.
Yeah.
Put the cowboy hat down.
Gosh.
But yeah, all right. So Aaron, where do you place Corey? Pre-jury or jury?
I'm giving him like mid to late jury, because once again, I just don't think that he's not going to be threatening, like, strategic wise. Like, so why not drag him along? He's not going to win, because we're not going to bring him to final 2 type deal. So he's going to make it there. He can sit pretty for the summer.
I'm giving him pre-jury. They got it right last season with Clay, and I think they'll get it right again this season. I'm also getting vibes like Mike, Nick, like Kale, that group. I'm getting that type of vibe from Corey. So they all got pre-jury. So I'm gonna give him pre-jury as well. Poor Kale.
I don't know with Corey, because I want him to get pre-jury, and I don't think he's gonna be a good player. But I do see him and Paulie hooking up, and if they can at least win a couple of HOHs, I think they can at least, get something going. And he's a good looking guy, obviously, and some of these girls, are gonna eat that up.
Thirsty.
So I see him at least being able to I think he'll interact better with the women than like Viktor would. I think Viktor is gonna be like cringy a little bit. So I'm gonna give him jury, but I think he's gonna be early jury. I think when the house flips, or if it does flip, I think he'll be one of the people that gets flipped on. So that's where I put him. We're on Paulie Calafiore now, from Howell, New Jersey, 27 years old. He's a DJ. He describes himself as driven, passionate, and quick-witted. Keith, let's get started on Paulie. What are your thoughts?
Paulie is Cody's brother.
It's Cody.
Ooh, that's how much I care about Cody. So I already went into his interview with some preconceived notions,
Of course.
because Cody, I wasn't a fan of. I didn't like that he chose to give his friend the win rather than to think for himself. I think that's literally the stupidest move in the history of Big Brother, to be at the final three and to vote out Victoria over Derek. That's all I have to say about Cody's gameplay. Paulie, somewhat saying Cody's a great social player. Well, if he was, then he would have won the game. Like, if the social element was the only thing that mattered, then he would have won the game, because he had the competitions over Derek. So clearly he wasn't the best social player that season. So I think that he is definitely biased towards Cody. I think he's supportive of Cody. And you gotta be as a family member. But there's a point where you have to separate yourself and view it objectively. And I feel like he's not giving the criticism that Cody willfully deserves, which is the fact that he had the game in his hands and he controlled his destiny by making himself get second place. But I think Paulie will hopefully be a little bit more interesting than Cody. Cody, yes, was a great player, but he also just slept the entire time he was in the house. I think Paulie will actually try to make connections. He can't rely on Pretty like Cody can rely on Pretty. So I think that Paulie will have to definitely put a little bit more work into it, and hopefully there will be a better outcome. That's all I got to say about it.
Cool. Aaron?
Yeah, I too was very disappointed in his favorite Big Brother player, Cody. I'm like, why? He didn't win. He wasn't like the most strategic. Like,
Cody Calafiore is the best player of all
hands
time.
down. You can't tell me anything, Jeff.
Greatest social game of all time.
Except when it
When
came
you
to the
lose.
jury part.
He got 2 votes. Greatest social player of all time.
One thing that I guess I kind of admire about the way that he interacted with Jeff was that he wants to align with people, and then he wants to go to the end with the best. That's the mindset that he's going with, that he doesn't want... he would like it if he was like in an alliance of 5, they're all strong players, and then they all go to the end together and like fight it out. I mean, realistically, that's not how you win the game, but like, I understand you don't want anyone to have a cheap way. You want like the final 2 to actually be a competition when it comes to the jury question, and you don't want it to be like, oh, we already know who's going to win based off of who got 3rd place. I don't think he's going to surpass Cody's placement. I don't think he's going to do that well. But I think he'll survive a little bit. I mean, as soon as the hype gets down for Cody, and I loved Cody because everybody in this house has seen Cody's season and one other season, then they'll give him the boot. I mean, he's basically Alyssa. He's going to have Alyssa's gameplay without... I don't think BB might not be as, like, try to help him survive as long as possible as they would want to, like Alyssa.
Yeah. I will say this about Paulie. There are things that I really like about Paulie, and then there's things that I really don't like about Paulie. I liked in Jeff's interview where he was, he straight up was like, I would rather be hated and win than loved and lost. Like, that's the answer to the question. Jeff says there's no right answer.
Yeah.
There is a correct answer. There is a right answer. Yeah, and that's the right answer. There's always that person that's like, I want the best of the best to make it to the end, and I feel like that person never, like, that person really limits themselves to that alliance, and someone else in that alliance is always thinking of other options, always has their backup plans ready, and that's usually the person that wins. So that really scares me. I also don't like that he's almost as brainwashed as Cody is about the whole Derek Victoria move, which he brought up in the Jeff interview, just like, bringing Victoria, no one would have respected your gameplay. It's like, Derek, the game's over. Leave the Calafiore family alone. He's probably got them like brainwashed. Yeah, well, I gotta mow his lawn. Like, it would be disrespectful to not mow Derek's lawn or pay his phone bill.
Right.
But I don't know. I like that he has the Calafiore tattoo on his stomach because that's
You
the
can't hide
answer.
it.
That's the answer to the question. There's no like, do I tell him? Do I not tell him? He's gonna tell him. And what I also like about that is that, in the past we've seen people be targeted or get targeted because of their relationship. But I think it's mostly because of who they're related to. So like with Willie, he's related to Russell Hands. Obviously, that's a negative viewpoint. Yeah. Rachel was a very dynamic, like you either loved her or hate her character, and of course that was kind of a negative effect on Alyssa. But with Paulie, I feel like Cody isn't someone that's like, oh my God, he's related to Cody. He's got to go. Because to Paulie's benefit, Cody was someone that was loyal to a fault. And I think if he tries and use that as a selling point for himself, I don't think anyone's really going to want him out. And especially if they find out about Vanessa's sibling, I think she's going to be 100% the more dangerous one. So I don't know. I think Paulie, he's not a manipulative person. I don't think they're going to see him like that. But he at least knows the game somehow, somewhat because of his family. So I'm really, really interested. I think he totally has the potential to get crashed and burned. Like if the house is completely weirded out about his relationship. But I don't think they're going to be. So I don't know. I know he's definitely one of the more interesting characters for me just because of being related to Cody and just that storyline. And I think it's a really interesting narrative if we kind of see do I follow in Cody's footsteps, which I think he wants to, which is also a very scary thing. But I don't know. So Keith, where do you place Paulie?
Pre-jury.
Aaron, what about you?
I think jury. I think an early jury, though, depending on, once again, the relationship with him and whoever I said earlier that I already forgot her name. Corey? Corey.
We'll go with Corey.
Yeah.
Corey.
I
feel like it was Corey.
I'm going to give him jury. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he's going to alarm too many people. He just needs to take a chill pill. So I'm going to give him jury. All right. Next person is Bronte.
Yes, Bronte.
D'Acquisto. Okay, she's 26 years old. She's from San Diego, California. Or wait, no, that's her hometown. She's from Colorado. That changes everything. And she's a student. Capable, willing, and determined. Aaron, let's talk about Bronte.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank God.
So, just right at the beginning, she was the first person the interview and the bio that I went through. So she was my beginning. So her picture and her presence on the video are two different things. She's just kind of like I'm pretty and I don't know. I mean, she has a bow in her hair. I don't know, the present that I got from her picture and then her talking, she's like a dork. Except she doesn't know what 9 times 9 is.
I loved it!
And I was like, are you serious right now?
And her dreams to be a mathematician.
Yeah, I'm like, that's easy stuff. You shouldn't even need the fingers, Bronte, but whatever. She is truthful in saying that she saw season 16 and half of season 17, so once again, someone who doesn't really know a lot about the game. I feel like a lot of these people are going to be surprised. There's no Battle of the Block because that's all they're used to in the game. That's a normal thing. I think it's funny that one of her hobbies is looking at adoptable dogs. Not adopting dogs, just looking at them. I could, but I'm not going to.
She has self-control.
And she did say that she is driven by money. I like the way that she and Jeff got kind of confused on their conversation. She was saying that she would like to hang out with a girl and then be like, oh girl, take the love, not the money or whatever. And Jeff thought that's what she wanted. She's like, no, I'm about the money. Like it was it was awkward the way that the conversation went, but I liked it. But yeah, she's gonna. I like the fact that she says that she's gonna go into it looking for outliers. Like a lot of people go into it like, I'm gonna have this strategy, but she's going to go into situations saying, okay, if something bad happens, how do I get out of this situation?
Yeah.
Like that's the way that you should be thinking of it.
I like that answer a lot. Yeah. Keith, what about you?
Even though she only saw a season and a half, I was very impressed that she said that she's going to go after the people that are the Dereks and Vanessas. Because when I first thought when she said outliers, I thought she was meaning like people that weren't fitting in or people that just like are kind of on the outs. But she wants the people that are good strategically, socially. And even though she just watched 1.5 seasons, she's like, I need the Dereks and Vanessas to go. I was like, finally, somebody answered the question the way that I would have answered, you know? Like, I want somebody to say that they're going to go after these social strategic threats that are going to be so well embedded and connected. So I really hope that she's able to follow through with that. I think it is because she is logical. Math and logic, same thing. She wants to be a mathematician. She may not know what 9 times 9 is. She thinks it's 89. But you know, when she has her paper and calculator and she puts out the finger,
no
81.
No math comps. That counting comp's going to be hard for him.
Right.
She's gonna fuck up.
I thought she was super entertaining. I loved her responses. She's very motivated by money. She's not here to mess around. I like that she says that showmance has put a target on your back, so she's actually going to play matchmaker. Like, she impressed me. I really, really enjoyed Bronte, and I think that she's actually going to be like a female Ian, a female Steve with the way that she approaches the game. But I don't know. I don't know if she's going to be able to mesh with the rest of the mess that is Big Brother 18.
Right.
But I think she's super entertaining and definitely one to watch.
Is this going to be the kind of cast that she gels with? I think that's really going to be a big determining factor of how well she does. Also, I think, assuming there are returning players, I think that really, really affects a lot. Because if you look at 13... but no, like, people at 13 that were really good players, in my opinion, like Dominic and Cassie were just completely, like, bulldozed by the returners.
It's because people, as you already know, they're not good at adaptation. Like, they just, they can't adapt. Like, they think, okay, like, there's going to be a twist, but, like, literally, it could be anything. You literally need to be on your toes. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
so I would assume these people would be able to do that with 12 people in the house.
Exactly.
You should be like, okay, somebody's coming back. Like, I need to focus on how I'm going to work those people into my game.
Yeah, you want to attach yourself. I think you want to attach yourself to the returners in a way, but also have the mindset of, if I can take some of them out, that's what I need to do. But I love the I want to take out social threats answer. That's something that Eric Stein once said, that it's like, as soon as you see that cast, anyone that doesn't look like they belong on the 90210 cast needs to go, because they were cast for a reason.
Yeah.
And I love that she has that mindset. So yeah, I think she's ditzy, but also strategic. And if she can mesh with people, then I think she has some really good potential.
I already see her in True Falls and before and after competitions messing up so bad. She's like stepping down and she was like, oh, I wanted this one. Like, she's the one that's changing her answers, like right before Julie says the correct answer is boom, boom.
Bronte, I need you to pick an answer, Bronte. I need you to pick an answer. All right, Aaron, where do you put Bronte?
I'm gonna throw a little faith and put her in jury. Because I want her to be there, especially over some of the people in this guy. So,
what about you, Keith?
Jury.
Too much of a fan to put her in pre-jury. I'm giving her jury.
Yeah, I have to give her jury as well. She's a really quirky person, and she's someone that I can see myself rooting for. So I really hope she does well. All right, next person we have is Bridgette,
aka Meg.
She is 24 years old, from Fresno, California, traveling nurse, optimistic, energetic, and awesome. Keith, let's talk about Bridgette.
Another adjective in there is honest. The thing that let me down the most in her video was the fact that she said that her biggest flaw is that she's a terrible liar. I'm like, do you realize what game you're coming into? Like, that is an essential trait for any successful Big Brother player. You have to lie. And I mean, there's ways for her to be good in the game with honesty. I mean, like you have to have more honesty than deception, obviously, but you have to have a good mixture of both. And the fact that she's already going in with the mentality that she can't lie, I'm nervous for you, baby. I'm also nervous because I don't see her being that competitive, like with competitions. So the fact that she can't lie, and she's honest, and I don't think that she's going to do well in competitions makes me think that she is the Meg of the season.
Thank you.
And she can't really like do well. However, when I was listening to her interview, I loved her personality. I loved her energy. I thought that she had a good aura about her. I feel like if I was in the house, I would want to trust her. So she might be able to have that effect on some house guests. But she's also, maybe at a different stage in her life. A lot of these people are kind of young, immature. I see her as very mature. She's a ER nurse, so she knows how to handle like chaotic situations. But I feel like it might come from like a more grown-up like point of view, and she may have trouble relating to some of the house guests. She reminds me a lot of my coworkers where I work, so I'm actually rooting for her in some weird way, but I do also agree with Aaron that I see her as a Meg of the season.
Aaron?
As you said, she's a Meg. Just like her favorite BB player is Johnny Mac.
Yeah.
And no hate Johnny Mac because he's a fun guy, but he wasn't the best, like, in any category of, like, competitive, like, social, strategic. Like, he wasn't the best at any of those. So she really only likes him because of his personality, which is just a reflection of her personality. I was jokingly saying Meg when I first saw her because I was like, this just looks like Meg, but literally, like, across the board, she's just Meg. She's nice. She's bubbly. She's not going to win competitions, in my opinion. She's not going to be super strategic. She's there, going to have a good time, and she's going to get the boot when they're ready for her to get the boot. Like, that's just how I feel on her. Though she has a boyfriend, so she won't be getting it on with anybody, so there's a little twist.
Wow, somebody that's not single?
Right. How'd you get in? I liked her answer. She goes, once it's down to top 10 or so, I should definitely be on a team or alliance. It's like, girl, you done. 16 players. Assuming. I don't know. I agree that she has Meg qualities, but I don't see her having... Like, one thing I thought that Meg really had for her is, she's very flirtatious. Mm-hmm. And I think that really helped with her social game. I don't see Bridgette being as this seductive, like, flirty girl. But I don't see her really winning any competitions either. So it's kind of like one of those scenarios where, is this going to be the cast that she meshes with? And I don't think it is. I think she is someone that could be on the block really, really early. And if she can work that, then I think she has longevity in this game. But I don't know if she does. Especially if she's a bad liar. I don't know. So, Keith, where do you put her in this game?
I give her pre-jury. I want her to make it far and do well, but I do see an oil and water vibe with her and the rest of the cast. And because she thinks that she can't lie, I will agree with her that she won't be able to, so she won't be a great pawn, in my opinion. So I could see her going really early.
All right, and
I thought about her gameplay, and I was like, there have been, people who have not lied or not been good at lying and making far. Shout out to Jason. But I agree with this cast. Just looking at the cast, I just don't see her able to mesh in there because all of the pretty guys already have pretty girls that they're gonna be able to attach to, or the bros are going to find their own bros, and the girls that are pretty are going to stay with those girls that are pretty. So I feel like I almost called her Meg. Bridgette is going to be in the pre-jury and not really get too far.
Yeah. I have to agree with both of you guys and give her a pre-jury. I just don't think she's going to find a footing in this game. And in this game, really quickly, I think she's going to be a really easy player to use as a scapegoat for an early boot. So Fortunately,
Nice, though.
she seems really nice.
Really very
I
nice.
just don't see her, and I'm thinking this is the winner of BB-18.
We scroll back. Somehow she's like relevant this entire
Right,
season.
we're gonna watch this at the end of the summer and be like, God, what the fuck did
What were we
know?
thinking?
Right?